Sex in the I World is the book about sex that's really the book about relationships. And the genesis of the book is trying to think about what's the effect of the sexual revolution in our society, and is it the case that we need to have sex to have fulfilling relationships? And what I've come to the conclusion is that in order to have fulfilling relationships, we need a whole lot more than sex. And then in so many ways, sex ends up being a dead end to good quality relationships. And so what I wanted to try to help people with is that try to find happiness, and not in the wrong place, but trying to find happiness and fulfillment in the right places. Government has been involved in marriage for centuries, if not millennia. Government was involved in marriage in Greece and in Rome and throughout the Middle Ages. Government has an interest in the family and believes that the family matters. And so even now, it's not a question about whether government's going to be involved. The question is, what is government going to allow? And government has a real interest in how our children are raised, has a real interest in how we, as citizens, relate to each other. If marriage is something that's good for our citizens, government has a responsibility to help promote it. So government would get out of it if it didn't matter. But because marriage matters, that's why government's involved in it. So this isn't about a guilt trip. This is not about making people feel like their lives are inadequate. This is an invitation to everyone to think more deeply about how to find a more happy and more fulfilling life. Because there's very few people I meet, myself included, who don't feel that we're missing something, that there isn't something more, and that what's been given to us in this particular culture isn't satisfying us. My task, in one sense, is to be able to explain what I believe in a manner that has the possibility of creating a constructive dialogue. And I think that's the most I can hope for. And actually, if we could have a constructive dialogue, it would be so helpful, as opposed to shouting at each other, as opposed to protests, as opposed to never talking about the things that matter. We need a dialogue.